95% of Americans have access to T-Mobile's low-band 5G. I think that number is now over 310 million pops. 225 million pops for the 5G UC. They really pushed the 5G leadership. It was the driving force of their growth. It's the driving force of their products and services. It's the calling card of what they're doing. Then, they kind of spoke to the fixed wireless access. It's really them and Verizon when it comes to fixed wireless access. They are the national carriers that are doing that. I think both companies see these as huge growth vectors. In my estimation, it's really only a growth vector for Verizon in terms of its single growth vector. I don't think Verizon really grows in anything else. They're not really growing in Fios. They're not really growing in wireless in terms of traditional mobility, right? They're slow growers there. And that's on an annual aspect. There are certain quarters where they historically lose customers. So, I don't know, man. I see T-Mobile, if they do 300 to 400,000 net adds in fixed wireless access every quarter, I think they hit their 7 to 8 million guided connections for fixed wireless access. I think they hit it a quarter early, and I bet you with the additional year or two, they're probably going to end up somewhere around 9 million, maybe 10 million by the end of the decade. It's really just up to their upgrade rate, some technologies, what they do with spectrum, how well they scale millimeter wave, those types of things. But it's up to them how they want to do
always
this.
remember by history, T-Mobile guides very, very conservatively. Always. If you think that was conservative, it's even more conservative. They always do that.
Well, the way I'm looking at it is if they go 20% above their guidance, that puts them at about 10, 9 or 10 million. So,
yep, I could see that happening.
I mean, I see them adding about 400,000 fixed wireless customers per quarter for a little bit of time, but yep. I don't necessarily see that momentum carrying on for a super long period of time. Like, i.e., I could see maybe one quarter where it's just explosive, 2 quarters where it's absolutely explosive, maybe even 800,000. Like, I'm talking crazy numbers. But around 2023, 2024, somewhere in that frame of time, I kind of see that momentum dying down just a little bit as far as conversion goes. Yep. Mainly because of the fact that Verizon's competition will be there. We believe that AT&T will probably do something to be competing. And around that time as well, I know you don't like when I say this, but around that time as well, we should start seeing upload speed increases from big cable, whether that's because of DOCSIS 4.0 or whatever. There's clearly a lot of commotion going on with the traditional ISPs. I mean, you just reported on Cox offering 2 gig symmetrical. Cox, of all people, doing 2 gig symmetrical. So I think there's a lot of competition going on, and I think that's going to kind of slow down some of the momentum for T-Mobile's fixed wireless growth.
Yeah. Well, I first want to see how cable responds, because T-Mobile hasn't even gotten really going yet. This is still early on, and they're still hitting them with the same $50 price point. T-Mobile has room to compete here too. They can drop it to 40.
Well, Tyrone, I can tell you exactly how cable responds. Cable responds by lowering their prices so aggressively low that T-Mobile doesn't have a hope or a prayer of matching. I mean, literally, I talked about this on the show, but in my area, which, I mean, granted, I have Fios here, which is a contributing factor, but in my area, Comcast was literally doing 300 megabit per second internet for $20. And if you got mobile, it was literally $10 per month. $10 per month for internet, 300 meg. How does T-Mobile compete against that? They can't.
That in that particular instance, you can't.
It's not even just exclusive to my market. I mean, down where oh god, I'm blanking on his name. He also has Comcast. He lives down in Texas. He's always on the Twitter Spaces. Help me, I'm forgetting his name. Sneed, come on.
Brandon,
Texas Twitter Spaces.
Brandon. Yeah, Brandon. Yeah, down where Brandon's at. They got promos where they're raving the modem rentals, doing the X5 complete for free, the extra $35 discounts. Like, so big cable, they know how to price out any potential even sniff of competition. And then contributing to that, they've also been doing the yearly speed increases, and we know that upload speeds will probably increase next year yet again, which will help solve pretty much most of the pain points, with the exception of explosive pricing that Sneed touches on. But that doesn't matter in the short term when a customer looks at a promo price.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, they'll adopt
I tell you what,
the attractive point.
if Spectrum goes that low on price and they don't increase after the first year, I'm with it. Hey,
that's not going to happen. But I could see a Spectrum lowering their price as a promo for like a year or two, and then it explodes. I don't think they'll leave it be. But then again, I've seen stranger things happen in this world. So who knows?